Sexual tastes vary greatly from person to person, but there is one thing that has been quietly reshaping those tastes on a massive scale, and most people have no idea it is happening. Pornography makes up around 25% of all search engine requests and is the fourth most common reason people go online. It may seem like a harmless, natural response. After all, sexuality is linked to millions of years of evolution, but the science tells a very different story. Pornography has dynamically changed over time, and in doing so, it has been quietly molding human desires and reshaping how we think about sex. Here is the not-so-shocking truth. Pornography has profound consequences for the brain, and it acts in many ways exactly like a drug. With prolonged exposure, your tolerance increases, and many people find themselves genuinely addicted, even though no physical substance is involved. It leads to the same loss of control, the same compulsive need to seek it out despite negative consequences, and withdrawal when it is taken away. Just like gambling or any other behavioral addiction, the real danger is this: continued exposure can cause long-term, even lifelong neuroplastic changes in the brain. To understand why, we need to talk about dopamine. Dopamine is your brain's reward chemical. It is released whenever you accomplish something important: eating, exercising, or sexual activity. Dopamine consolidates neural connections. It tells your brain, "That was good. Do it again." It literally rewires the structure of your brain cells to motivate certain behaviors. The National Institutes of Health measured drug addictiveness using a simple rat experiment. A rat is trained to press a button to receive a drug, and the harder it works, the more addictive the substance. The result? The more addictive a drug is, the more dopamine is released. And dopamine is also released during sexual excitement, which is exactly what pornography triggers. The more time you spend watching, the more dopamine gets released. This reinforces the behavior, making you not just desire it in the future, but require it. As you begin to imagine these images away from the screen, or even during real intimacy, those connections become further reinforced in the brain. And every orgasm releases even more dopamine, which consolidates and strengthens every connection made during that session. It becomes a feedback loop that is harder and harder to escape. Just like a drug, your tolerance for visual stimulation compounds over time. This makes it progressively more difficult to be aroused by real life. Pornography addiction can often lead to finding your real partner less attractive, not because of who they are, but because of how the brain has been rewired. It can damage relationships, reduce emotional intimacy, and create unrealistic expectations about sex and the human body. But here is the good news: it does not have to be permanent. The brain is often described as a use it or lose it system. The neural connections you stimulate grow stronger and demand to be activated, while the ones you ignore gradually weaken and fade away. This is exactly like your muscles. If you sit still all day, they ache for activity, but after long periods of no use, they become complacent and weak. Luckily, the same neuroplastic system that builds these unhealthy habits can also be used to build healthier ones. The brain can rewire itself in the other direction too. Usually, when people understand the mechanism and realize it is affecting their relationships and well-being, they are able to stop and begin the process of recovery. Awareness is the first and most powerful step. Understanding what is happening inside your brain takes away the shame and replaces it with the ability to make a conscious choice. Therapy, mindfulness, and building real human connection are among the most effective tools for rewiring the brain back toward healthy intimacy. Your brain is one of the most extraordinary things in the known universe. It is flexible, adaptable, and capable of change at any age. But that same flexibility makes it vulnerable to being shaped by what we repeatedly expose it to. The question is not whether pornography affects the brain. The science is clear that it does. The question is, now that you know, what will you do with that information? If this video gave you something to think about, share it with someone who needs to hear it. And tell me in the comments, did this change the way you think about the brain and habit formation?